Hey everybody, today is Wednesday, June 18th, 2025, and today I am finally going to do it for you guys. I am finally going to make the video that a lot of you guys have been continuously asking me to make. Literally like 20 times a week I get asked, when am I going to do a video on my library, my movie collection, my cinematic media library, my man cave, if you will, the room that houses mostly my movie collection, but also my Game Boy collection, my Spice Girl collection, my CD collection, and a few other random collections and things as well. When am I going to do this video? Well, today we are finally going to do it. The library is pretty much done at this point. I would say like 98% done. There are a couple little odds and ends I want to do here yet in the library, and I'll get to those eventually. But I figure since we're pretty much done, since the library is pretty much complete, let's finally do a video on my, what I call the library. When talking about this room, I simply just refer to it as the library. And today, we're going to finally take a look at it. So for those of you who have been watching me for some time now on this channel and on my other channel, Cinema Sickness, you guys know I used to have a massive movie collection. The whole entire basement of my house back in Pennsylvania, that whole basement was wall to wall, floor to ceiling, and then rows of movies. It was just thousands and thousands and thousands of movies. And then maybe a couple of years ago, I decided to purge my collection. I got rid of anything I had just for collecting purposes. So VHS tapes I had just because they were interesting and collectible, but I already owned the movie on like Blu-ray, so I didn't really need to have the VHS. I had a bunch of Laserdiscs I didn't need, CEDs, Beta, all kinds of things I had just for the collectability of them. I got rid of all that stuff. And I also got rid of all the movies I knew I would either never actually get around to watching or that I would never actually watch again. I got rid of all of that stuff, dwindled my collection down to probably half of what it was. And even after I did that, the whole thing, the whole collection still took up the entire basement. The whole entire basement was still full of wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling, and rows of movies. So I still had a huge, giant, massive movie collection. And when I moved here to Florida, I brought the whole thing with me. The whole entire collection came with me. It was insane to transport all of that, but I did. I transported the whole thing. And when I got here, the idea was to put my collection out into the garage. I was going to build out the garage basically like I had my basement built out. The garage is roughly the same dimensions as the basement. So that was my plan. That was my idea. The garage was going to become my new library. And then I decided I didn't want to do that. I changed my mind and decided to take this, the spare bedroom of the house, and turn this into my library. We really weren't using this room. This room was used as storage, and occasionally there was a bed in here, so occasionally we would use it as a guest room. I think we used it like once as a guest room, so not a lot of guests coming over to stay in this room. So I decided to, instead of leaving this as storage / guest room, let's put all the storage stuff out in the garage and turn this into my library. Now, the only downfall was that did require me to once again purge my collection, which I was okay with doing because this is what I consider to be the best of the best. This is all the stuff that I could pull literally any title off the shelf, and it's something I know I'm going to want to watch. It's something I know I really enjoy. The last time I purged my collection, my thought was I will just keep anything I know I like. So if I watch a movie and go, oh yeah, that was good, I enjoyed that, or I watch a TV show or I watch a documentary and I say, yeah, that was good, I kept it because I watched it and I enjoyed it, and I was going to keep it for that reason. But then when I purged this collection again down to what it is now, I got rid of a bunch of stuff that, yeah, maybe it's a movie I liked, it's a documentary I liked, it's a TV show I liked, but let's face it, will I ever actually watch this documentary, movie, TV show, whatever? Will I actually ever watch it again? If the answer was probably not, then I just got rid of it. And there was a lot of stuff I was able to get rid of. A lot of stuff that, yeah, again, I enjoyed, but that I knew I would probably most likely never watch again. A huge chunk of that was documentaries. Back in Pennsylvania, I had a whole entire wall full of nothing but documentaries. I used to buy pretty much any and every documentary I could get my hands on. I love documentaries, but I would watch them once and then never watch them again. There's only maybe like a dozen or so documentaries that I find myself watching over and over and over again. So I got rid of a ton of those. So I was able to dwindle my collection down to maybe only 25% of what it used to be. I got rid of so much stuff, and I actually feel okay with that. A bit of a weight has been taken off my shoulder. I don't own as much stuff now, which I actually like. Although with that being said, out in the garage, I do have like 10 storage boxes, like there's big moving boxes full of documentaries and TV shows and movies of stuff that I want to watch first before I decide as to whether or not I'm getting rid of it. So all stuff I need to get around to rewatching, because maybe it'll go into my collection. Maybe some of that stuff, well, definitely some of that stuff will eventually probably get added into the library, but a lot of it will probably end up going and getting sold or getting traded into the Video Game Movie Dome or something like that. Even behind the shelf here, I'll show you, I have a whole row of stuff that I need to watch before I decide if it's going into my collection or not. So yes, my collection has been dwindled down quite a bit. It's a much, much, much smaller collection than it ever has been before. It's a lot tinier now, but again, it's a collection I am very satisfied with. It's a collection I love. It is the best of the best. All stuff I want desperately to have in my collection. Stuff I need to have in my collection. Not just a movie that I watched, I enjoyed, so I decided to keep it. This is all stuff I love and have to have in my collection. It's all must-haves that are here. So let's take a look at my library, which again mostly houses my movie collection. So I guess first I'll start off with what's on top of the shelves. These are all my box sets or big collectible sets, all the stuff that's just too big to go on a shelf normally. Or it's things like my Masters of the Universe collection there, which is a cool spine. There's things like Planet of the Apes, my Caesar bust. And then these are box sets that are just kind of bigger. My thought was, if it's bigger than 3 DVDs thick, it'll go up here. So instead of taking up room on the actual shelves themselves, I just have all my box sets kind of stacked up here on the shelves. I think it works. It looks good. I don't dive into these too often, so when I do want to pull out a box set, I just get out the step stool and reach up there for whatever I need. It works. So that's all my box sets, my big collectible sets, things like that. There are some toys and stuff up there as well, and some collectibles up there as well. But that is all my box sets and collectible sets and things like that. For the most part, there are some other ones strewn throughout the library. So over here then is where my main collection begins. I don't have these alphabetized like you would normally alphabetize something. I do have all my numbers together, all my A's together, all my B's together, and so on and so forth. But I don't alphabetize them within those sets because it would just take way too long to put a title away. If I got a title that started with a number, I would have to then slide like every single shelf over. It would take so long to put something away. So this way makes it way, way easier to put stuff away. So you can see I got these cards here. There's numbers up there. There's A's there. So this is all number movies and TV shows and documentaries and whatnot. Then we go into A's, and then B is down here, and it goes across and down, and then onto the next shelf, across and down. There's like the start of C there, goes all the way down to D. D then goes onto this shelf, and then so on and so forth. So my collection's mostly made up of DVDs, Blu-rays, 4K, and VHS. I do have a couple of HD DVDs thrown in here as well, but not a ton of HD DVDs, just a couple of them thrown in here and there. But mostly, again, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K is what my collection is made up of. I do have a couple of Laserdiscs and CEDs and things like that, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. So again, all the way around the library, it ends down here in S, and then it comes over onto this little side shelf here. This is S into T, and then we go on to the shelves behind the couch here, which, as you can see, I don't have anything down behind the couch, so kind of wasted space, unfortunately, but this does work for housing more movies. And then it goes down to here, and then it ends over here, down here in Z, and ending right there. So I do have some space down here, and I do have all this space back here as well, which I'll talk about in a minute. So up here, these are all my these are all my VHS and Beta clamshells. This is all the stuff I have on either Beta or VHS that is in a clamshell. That all goes there. Down here is my Criterion collection. I have these separated because I'm not necessarily going for a complete Criterion collection, but I do just pick up any Criterion collection title I find. So I guess I maybe kind of am going for a complete collection, but not actively, if you will. So I'm just trying to get as many as I possibly can. So this is my entire Criterion collection here. All the Criterion titles I have on either DVD or Blu-ray. Then I got some things back here like CDs that have to be put away. I'll explain that in a little bit. These are all titles right here of stuff I want to watch. This is stuff I didn't put into storage boxes yet. This is all stuff I was like, okay, I want to watch this as soon as possible. So I just put it back here for now. And every day I pick out a title, and I usually try to watch at least one movie a day to get through all of this. So that's what that is. Eventually all of this will be gone, maybe added into my collection or traded away or sold or something like that. But for now, it just sits back here. So on the other side over here, I've got my Disney treasure sets, my treasure sets that make up almost a complete set. I'm still missing, I believe, 3 Disney treasure sets. I need the 2 Zorros, and then there's one other one, which I don't remember what that other one is, but there's one more I need to get to complete my collection. That's almost a complete collection of the Disney treasure sets. It's almost a full, complete set of the sets. Eventually, someday, I hope to have that set complete. I do have some Laserdiscs down here and some CEDs down here. There's things like the Godzilla Criterion Collection set that comes in that big book. I really hate this packaging, honestly. Cool set. Terrible packaging, but that's there because it takes up so much space. Again, Laserdiscs. I have some like CD sets down here and a couple of just 2 CEDs there. So that's pretty much it for my main collection, but I do have some collectibles as well in these display cases. So you can see on top of the display case, I got things like my 4K Terminator 2 set there. There's ET up there, all kinds of other toys and collectibles and odds and ends on the top here. And then inside the display case, I've got just stuff I have basically for the purpose of collecting. So all this stuff here, these are all just like box sets or weird releases or collectible releases, or for some reason or another, just something I want to own that I don't necessarily need. I have, The Little Mermaid, I think on 4K. I have a different Coraline release. I have Silent Night, Deadly Night, I think on Blu-ray. So things I don't need to own, but I want to have for collecting reasons. Like my Innkeepers set here. There's a Blade Runner back there in the briefcase. There's a VCD release of the Star Wars trilogy, Silent Night, Deadly Night, big box VHS, the infamous Little Mermaid VHS, Sleepaway Camp with the actual cross on it, the Red Cross on it that was recalled, things like that, recalled stuff, stuff that never should have made it out, or like screeners of things like Ed Wood and whatnot. There's Young Frankenstein on beta. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, so of course I love having the beta release. There's one of the only 2 legit releases of Song of the South. They released it on Laserdisc, which, by the way, I do have Song of the South on Japanese Laserdisc down there in my collection, but I also have the European VHS release. There's things like The Lion King on Laserdisc, which has the original cut. They kind of like changed some of the animation on the DVD and on the Blu-ray. There's the Star Wars Laserdisc box set back there, Halloween Tree on Laserdisc. I love the Nightmare on Elm Street DVD set there with the Freddy Krueger mural. There's Jack Frost 2 with the lenticular artwork. It, Gremlins, these are technically slightly different cuts than the DVD and Blu-ray releases. Fright Night 2, just harder to find. TMNT, which of course I have for the that Pizza Hut commercial. Slightly different cuts of Nightmare on Elm Street. There's the Gargoyles movie, like big box set, just all kinds of sort of odds and ends, collectibles, if you will, things I just want to have for the purpose of collecting that I just couldn't get rid of because they're too cool, they're too awesome. And then down here on these 2 shelves, every single thing you see here is a different format. Not 2 things here are the same. I mean, okay, yes, my juice box titles here, those are the same format, but that's all one thing. So these are all different formats, all different types of cinematic media formats here. There's so much different stuff. There's film, there's like kind of more like toy versions of things. There's of course DVD and Blu-ray and 4K and 3D and stuff like that, but all kinds of just collectible. There's beta there, all sorts of formats. Again, every single format here is a different format. That's why I have these. I love just having at least one of every format in my collections. That's why I have those down there. Then over here in this display case, some more random collectibles. Up here is my one and only actual full 16 millimeter film. This is Scenes from a Mall. This is the entire movie right here on 16 millimeter film. Only one I have. Why that movie? I got it for cheap. That's the only reason why I have that specific movie on 16 millimeter. Not one of my favorite films. It's okay. It's Bette Midler and Woody Allen, which is cool, but again, not one of my favorite movies, but pretty good nevertheless. Some more collectibles and whatnot up here. Gotta love the Sharknado. that is a sketchy display piece there. All kinds of, again, just collectibles and whatnot here. And then inside here, more random collectible things like my Nightmare Before Christmas Laserdisc set. I've got some rental releases there. These are things I have just for, like, I don't know, for the collectability of them as well. There's some 3D glasses, some film reels there. This is my Titanic VHS collection, all different releases of Titanic on VHS. I have some rental cards there. These are all autographed items here. Now, all throughout the whole entire collection, I do have random titles that are autographed by people, but these are all the titles I have that I don't necessarily need to have in my collection. Like, for instance, got the Blob here signed by Keith Almany, which is really awesome, but I have the Blob on Criterion Blu-ray, so I don't need this in my collection, but I have it here anyway. So all this stuff is autographed, but it's all stuff I don't need to have in my collection because I have it on a different format, or I have it on a better format or a better release of it or something like that. But I'm not going to get rid of my lesser release because that lesser release maybe was autographed. So I have that stuff here on display. This is all screeners and demo discs that are down here. So titles that were releases that were meant to be shown in on TVs and like Blockbuster or Best Buy or Kmart or something like that, or screeners that were given out by studios. So that's what's down there. I collect those sort of as well. So that's pretty much it for my movie collection. That's pretty much all when it comes to my movies. That is pretty much everything. I got my box sets on the very, very top shelf, and all the rest of my movies on the regular shelves and whatnot, and then some odds and ends, some collectibles in the display cases down here. I do have an HD CRT TV. This is a 720 CRT TV to watch Laserdisc and to watch Beta and to watch VHS and all that stuff on the older formats on. Of course, I have my 4K TV there. I have my VHS rewinder. I've got a Super Blue player right down there that plays both Blu-ray and HD DVD. I have my GameCube, not for GameCube games, but for playing Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy games on with my Game Boy adapter. Same thing with my Super NES, my SNES. I have the Super Game Boy hooked up to it. I don't actually have any Super Nintendo games. I just play Game Boy games on there. I have a 4K player. I have a VCR DVD combo with HDMI outputs that I have hooked up to the CRT TV. It looks fantastic. And then I have my Laserdisc player down there, also hooked up to the CRT TV as well. So again, for my movies, that's pretty much my main movie collection, but I do have some other collections here in the library as well, like my Game Boy collection. This is my Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance collection. Again, not necessarily actively going for a complete collection. I'm not going out there and spending big bucks on titles I don't already own, but if I find a title for a good price that I don't already have, no matter what it is, I will pick it up. If it's a game I don't have yet and the price is right, I will buy it to add to my collection. And I put them in these little sort of like shelves here, these little plastic shelves I got here. They're little containers, but I use them as shelves, and they work quite well. I couldn't really think of a good way to display my collection, so I got these IKEA shelves, and then got these little bins here that just fit perfectly onto the shelf, and I put like all my D's in there, all my C's in there, all my B's in there, and so on and so forth. Pretty easy to find something when I'm looking for it. I mean, yeah, sometimes I have to dig maybe a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to find stuff. And I think it's a really good way of cataloging and storing my my Game Boy collection. I've got cables there. I've got my actual, these are accessories for the Game Boy. I got my actual Game Boys right there. There's the e-reader with some e-reader cards right there on the side, I have a display piece here, a new Game Boy display piece from a GameStop. I've got a used display piece from a GameStop. There's my Game Boy Advance SP carrying case in case I want to travel a little bit. And then we go into the closet, which holds even more collections. We've got, I guess, my main collection I'll show off here, my Spice Girl collection. I think everybody has that one guilty pleasure, although I don't really feel guilty. I love the Spice Girls, but everybody has that, that group they like, whether it's Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, maybe you're a Christina Aguilera fan or a Britney Spears fan or something like that. Well, for me, it's the Spice Girls. I have a lot of nostalgia for the Spice Girls, but a fan ever since high school. So I've got a big collection of all the dolls up here. And then in the display cases, I got all my media here. So VHS, DVD, and those are cassette tapes there. So all different releases of the movies and videos and whatnot they put out. There's records there, one Laserdisc of the movie as well. There's all these CDs. There's some video games back there, audiobooks, things like that. I've got the Lego sets. I've got some more like plush dolls back there, keychains and banks and just all kinds of. There's a little toy phone there. These are all books and magazines that feature the Spice Girls. There's some clothing like some socks and some t-shirts. There's a tie, just all kinds of Spice Girl stuff. And this is not even like remotely all the stuff they put out. There's a ton of Spice Girl stuff that's been put out over the years. I have just a little bit of it. There's all the Chupa Chups, a complete set of the Spice Girl Chupa Chups. Who remembers those? I loved those lollipops. They were so good. I wish they still made those. These are more kind of like action figure type dolls. There's the Polaroid camera and then a yo-yo and possibly an autograph of the Spice Girls. Never got it authenticated, but supposedly that's a authentic autographed picture by the girls, by the Fab Five. Down there, there's some party supplies. Then I got some stamps, some bobbleheads and whatnot down there on the very, very bottom row. This back here is actually some more movies, but I'll explain these. These are movies I just couldn't get rid of for one reason or another. Like my Midnight Movies set. I have I don't think I have the complete set, but I have close to the complete set of all those movies. I don't necessarily need to have these movies in my collection though, because every movie that was released through the Midnight Movies releases, I already have on Blu-ray in my collection. Anything here I would definitely want to have. Anything here I would absolutely need to have in my collection, I have on Blu-ray. So I don't need to have my Midnight Movies releases, but I have them anyway because I love them, so I just kept them. Then I have things like 3D releases or releases that have like special features on it, like my Night of the Living Dead. These are like different releases of the movie. I have it on Blu-ray, but I also have it in that DVD release because of like commentary or a documentary or something like that. So this is all stuff I don't necessarily need, again, to have in my collection, but due to the fact that it might be in 3D or it might have a special feature or a colorized version or something like that, I just decided to hold on to. So stuff I don't necessarily need, but stuff I just can't get rid of. So stuff I have to hold on to. I kind of stored it back here in the corner. Then I've got my Vinylmation collection. These are all Disney Vinylmations here. I just started collecting these maybe a year ago, and as you can see, I have a massive collection of these now too. I find these quite often here in Florida, so lots of Vinylmations. Love collecting these. I got some larger ones here. Got some, nothing there yet. Got some Laura Dern stuff here. I love me some Laura Dern, so got some action figures and some Funko Pops. Then down here, this is all books. I do have a couple books in my collection, not a ton, but some weird US books and a couple of magazines for collecting reasons. There's a book on Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Marvin K. Mooney, Will You Please Go Now? My favorite of the Dr. Seuss books. There's the entire Scary Stories trilogy, some travel books, things like that. Just books I want to have in my collection. So I have a small little book collection there. This is just some random odds and ends. Like there's Cappy from Mario. There's an R2-D2 blow up. I got my Killer Clowns from Outer Space cotton candy gum. There's the Zap-'em van from Men in Black. Mr. Mouth, love that game. Had it when I was a kid. That's really, really awesome. Then some more odds and ends up here, including a Spice Girl bike. Yes, they actually made a bike for the Spice Girls, and I have one of those. I have one of those in my collection, and it's on display right here, kind of like nailed up sort of to the wall. I got some Spice Girl posters in the back, like my Spice World poster, an actual Spice Girls poster I had hanging up in my room as a teenager. I still have right there. Very proud of that. And then all kinds of weird stuff here, like there's a viewfinder and some Disney pins and some Jar Jar Binks plush and collectible spoons and collectible figures and plush and a Coco guitar back there, some Duffy ears, a Jar Jar Binks hat. There's a Duffy Bear wearing Muppet Vision 3D glasses, don't ask, with his Oswald the Lucky Rabbit hat on. There's a Jar Jar Binks puppet up there, and just all kinds of things I have for one reason or another, like my lightsaber I made. There's Bellatrix's wand that I can use when I go to Universal. So again, just weird sort of odds and ends of collectibles and toys and stuff I wanted to have in my collection. There's a Metropolis poster there, some Monsters, Inc., Mar, Spice Girls from the Spice World Tour my friend went on. She got me that. Up here, these are pennants I pick up occasionally when I find them for a good price. And then if they have a topic that I like King Kong from Universal or Disney or Camp Crystal Lake or Hershey Park or whatever, I love having all the pennants. I pick these up occasionally as I find them. As you can see, I got room for more of them in the future. And then this is my CD collection. This is my entire CD collection right here. So everything you see here, this is all box sets or things that come in like sleeves or paper cases like this. Basically things I can't necessarily take apart. That's what you see right here. So this is my CD collection and cassette tape collection. I have a couple of cassette tapes. Here's two from my old band in high school, the Cobblefingers. Actually, a lot of these bands here feature my friends. A lot of these are high school friends who they're old bands from, gosh, a long time ago. So again, this is my CD collection. I got audiobooks and whatnot here as well. And then all this stuff that came in like a standard jewel case, I put into these little sleeves right here. So this is all stuff that came in like a standard normal CD jewel case. And I just took the case apart and put the CDs into these sleeves, which save a ton of space. Now, I wouldn't normally do this for like DVDs or Blu-rays because every time you take the disc out, it potentially scratches the disc. However, when it comes to CDs, I don't ever take my CDs out. After I put my CDs into iTunes, I never really use the discs again. So that's why I felt safe putting them into to sleeves like this. It saves space, and I don't really ever need to access the actual discs themselves. Rarely ever do I need to access a disc. So I think it works by putting them into to the sleeves like that. They're all alphabetized as well. Not here. This is not alphabetized, but I do have numbers and A's and B's and whatnot, so I can find stuff fairly easily, which brings us to all this. These are all CDs I haven't put away yet. They've been cataloged, but I haven't put them into sleeves yet. These will eventually not be here. These will eventually get put into sleeves. These have already been taken out of the jewel cases. They will get put into sleeves, and they will get put onto the shelf here eventually. So that is my entire CD collection right there. So the walk-in closet has been turned into storage for, again, CD collection, Spice Girl collection, odds and ends and collectibles and stuff, and of course all my Vinylmations down there. So I think that's pretty much it for my main collection, but I do have other little odds and ends, like my popcorn bucket up there, my Millennium Falcon popcorn bucket that's flying through the library. Same thing with the X-Wing that's flying around as well. I've got some Funko Pops. I'm not a huge Funko Pop collector, but I do have a few Pops. So when I come across ones I maybe really want for one reason or another, I will pick them up. I have a few on display. I've got a TIE Fighter up there. I've got an Enterprise up there as well. I've got some display pieces, like a Star Wars display piece, a Batman display piece. There's my Elvis clock right there. I've got some of these weird display pieces and whatnot that I got from, I shouldn't say weird, but I got these awesome display pieces I got from a closing. I believe it was Hollywood Video when they went out of business. I got some of those from them. There's Pirates of the Caribbean there. I got these from a Hollywood Video as well when they were going out of, or was it Suncoast? No, I think it was Suncoast Video actually. When Suncoast Video was going out of business, I got these cool display pieces I just wanted to have in the library because they look pretty awesome. I love those. There's a Divx display piece up there. That's a crown jewel of mine, Divx. That was a fun rental format that never actually took off. It was a Circuit City thing that never really became a thing. There's a Wally lamp there. I got some Figment down there as well, all along the back of the display cases here, the shelves here. These are all vanity plates, Disney vanity plates. So things from like MGM and the Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World in general. I find these quite often down here in Florida as well. So I pick these up when I find them and then just put them back here. I think they're pretty cool. I like those. These are all lanyards from conventions I've been to. I've got a Blockbuster Rewards display piece there that I got from a closing Blockbuster. There's a Haunted Mansion poster. My DVD video sign that I got from a closing Borders. The story behind this was crazy, where they gave me a very tall ladder and a very sharp knife and said, if you want it, you can have it. You just got to hack it off the wall. I can't believe they were okay with me doing that, but I got it down, and this has been on display in every library since I've gotten this. So that's awesome. The Tigger movie poster, Sebastian's Caribbean Jamboree poster for the actual VHS release, which is really, really awesome. This was meant as a display piece to hang up in a store. So that's really cool. There's my Stitch movie poster. I love that. Got that for a fantastic deal at Goodwill just a couple of months ago. That's awesome. There's George of the Jungle. That's a McDonald's display piece there. These are all autographs from musicians, some wrestlers, some actors, all kinds of different autographs that I have are on display here on the bathroom door. And yes, there is a bathroom here in the library as well. You can see there's a horror, very dirty. I gotta figure out how you clean these. A horror mat there, like a little floor mat there. I haven't really done a lot with the bathroom. I just did a little bit. I hung some posters, just the Blob, Creep Show, Army of Darkness. There's a skeleton or like a skull back there. I've got this guy here. There's some things here as well. So I haven't really done a ton with the bathroom. I have some ideas for this. I'm gonna do some things where I swap out the like the knobs and whatnot for skulls, and I want to do vintage. I have like these like faux vintage Halloween masks. I'm gonna put all around the top of the shower there. So I just I haven't done a lot with this. I have some plans for the bathroom in the future, but for right now, it's what I've done to it. But again, this will all be redone and made better in the future. So that's the bathroom. I got Batman and Joker there. There's my talking Chucky popcorn bucket from Universal. I got the Wizard on display there. Awesome poster from the Wizard. California. And I got Toy Story there. This is a Disney mobile they gave out for rental stores and whatnot. So, okay. I think that's pretty much it for my collection. That is everything. That is the library. What I call the library. I got my again 4K TV here, CRT TV there, couch here. It might look kind of close in video, but I assure you the distance is perfectly fine. I've watched many movies on this couch already since I've had this set up, and it works out fantastic. Taz back there, Stormtrooper phone holder there. There's a Fright Night 2 poster there. Dr. Sin poster over here. There's Annabelle down there. I love having my Annabelle in the library at all times. There's a Jar Jar Binks Pepsi display. I love all these cool displays that I find here and there. So again, pretty much it. I do have my 1980s Avon Christmas calendar here. One of the coolest finds I've ever found yard sailing in my entire life. Had one of these as a kid growing up. So awesome to have this back in my life again. I know it's not Christmas, but I have this on display at all times because I love it so much. I gotta have it. Christmas or not, this is always on display in the library. So, all right, guys, that's pretty much it for the collection. So if you guys have any questions about the library, leave your comments down below. Questions, comments, whatever. Keep them constructive. But if you guys want to know anything or have any ideas or thoughts, leave those comments down below. I am really happy with the way everything's set up. I am really happy with my library. Yes, I have dwindled it down quite a bit. I have purged it quite a bit, but I am okay with that. I am fine with that. I like the size of my collection. More manageable. It just seems better. It doesn't seem as massive. It's quality over quantity, if you will, in my opinion. I love love my collection right now. Every time I walk in here, I'm so happy. And I love the fact that, again, anything on the shelves, I can pull off the shelf, and I know it's something I'm gonna want to watch. It's not something I might be like, oh, that was good, but I don't need to watch it. No, this is all stuff I know I would love to watch over and over and over again. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. So happy I was able to finally get this video done for you guys. You guys have been asking for this video for such a long time now, been wanting to do this video, and I'm finally getting it out to you guys. Because again, I'm pretty much like done with the library. A couple things, like I do plan on getting these lights going at some point. These are all ready to be lit up and whatnot. I just don't have these hooked up to electricity yet. I will eventually do that. They will look like these display cases here in time. On the sides here, I do have these movie marquees as well, just for some fun display purposes. These ones here don't light up quite as well because I got some stuff kind of blocking them in the display cases. But so pretty much for the most part, the library is done. I would say 98% done. Just some little odds and ends I need to do here and there. But for the most part, it is completely finished, completely done. So I figured I would finally show it off to you guys. But all right, like I said, any comments, questions, whatever you want to say, leave them down below. I want to hear from you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope I don't get too many comments about how small my collection is now. Because yes, if you have been following me for some time now, you know, it used to be a lot bigger, but I don't care. I love it. I love the way my library looks right now. I love it in this room. I'm very happy and very satisfied with how I have everything set up. I love the look of it. I love the display cases and where the TV is. I love all the shelves that I custom built myself to fit in this room perfectly. All these shelves custom built to fit the room perfectly. This entertainment stand built by me, custom built by me to fit there perfectly. These shelves are from Amazon, but they're still awesome shelves. I love them anyway. These shelves are from IKEA right here. Display cases from IKEA, but a lot of this was custom built by me to fit this room perfectly and to house my collection perfectly. I'm very happy with it. But all right, again, that is going to do it. So hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to go get myself a bottle of water now. I've been talking for like 40 minutes. So as always, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check down below for links to Patreon, check down below for links to Spreadshirt, check down below for a link to my other channel, Cinema Sickness, if you guys want to watch me do edited thrifting videos and add to my collection. And if you guys want to see old library tour videos, those are up there as well. You guys can take a look at what my library used to look like back in Pennsylvania. Also, did I say hit the join button to become a member of this channel and gain early access to all of the videos? That also helps as well. And if you guys watch this video all the way until the very end, I would say hashtag, let's do hashtag library. Hashtag library if you guys watch this video all the way until the very end. But all right, guys, that is going to do it. So I'm going to go pick out a movie. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch that movie. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Again, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you do hit that subscribe button or you are subscribed, then I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. All right, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Bye.